Okay, welcome back to the show. Let's continue from where the stakeholders and practitioners in the Nigerian maritime and trade industry are watching keenly the country's political space advancing towards a new administration in June 2023. So what's the agenda for the incoming government on the side of exports, trade, and maritime in general? Let's bring in the Chief Executive Officer at Maritime Media Limited, Asu Beks, who is also a long-time journalist in that, reporting in that sector. It's good to have you. Thanks for coming through. It's been quite some time. It's good to see you again. The last time you were here, it wasn't much of a political hot water. Now it's getting a whole lot steamy out there. Yeah. But first, what do you think the most naughty or difficult issues are right now for the Nigeria's maritime sector?
Yes, the major problem we have in the maritime sector is this issue of inconsistency in government policies. And of course, even when the national NBS, they bring out their data, you hardly see the maritime sector captured. And so this is a sector that contributes so much to the national economy. And then over 85% of what comes in and goes out, that is export and import. Just look around us here. Everything about us is something has to do with import and export. Yet, the NBS, they never get the maritime sector captured. We have about 1.6% contribution, which is very, very low. Very, very low, because we have a global blue economy that can take almost 350 million in terms of employment.
So maybe your sector is not big, so the MBS belief is not...
Yes, they have to go digital, because take, for example, the Nigerian Customs Service. Apapa and Tinkan Customs alone, Apapa generated over 500 billion in the first 6 months of this year. And I don't think all these things are captured. The area controller at Tinkan will address a press conference tomorrow. I'm sure that nothing less than 300 billion will come. Those two commands alone, almost 1 trillion naira. And these things are not captured. And then let's leave that alone. Let's leave that and then go to this issue of a new agenda for the incoming government. Because we want a situation...
I want us to discuss the agenda for the new administration. But again, these problems within, and I spent most of my day yesterday at the Zenith Bank event where we talk about trade and all of that. Aliko Dangote believes that, look, the more customs collect more money, it means we're not efficient in terms of exports because we need to be pushing out and be earning foreign exchange as revenue. If you look at where our trade balance is right now and our debt to revenue, we're really, really trading water and we need to do something very quick. So we need to do a whole lot more in terms of exports. But why are the problems within the sector so difficult for previous administrations to deal with?
Now, you see, we have had a Minister of Transport, for example, the former Minister of Transportation. Amechi happens to be the only Minister of Transport in Nigeria's recent history that has done 8 years. And 8 years, he dedicated all his time to railways, leaving the maritime sector to suffer. For instance, we have this cabotage vessel financing fund that has been collected for almost, at the last count, when the former Minister of State for Transport visited, Bemi Saraki, she told us NIMASA gave her figures of over $1 million. These monies are not disbursed, and it's affecting the regional ship owners. We can't move forward when we have funds that are supposed to, make the sector grow, and they are held up. And so we are looking at a situation where several things that has to be done. For instance, we are saying that, look, instead of the kind of experience that we have during the Amechi era, whoever is coming in as the next president should focus on perhaps creating a Ministry of Maritime Affairs so that whoever wants to be land transport can take care of railway and all that. These are some of the issues that we are talking about. You cannot be doing the same thing and expecting different results. Look at our ports. Can the MD of Nigerian Ports Authority take a visiting port manager, maybe from one of our neighboring ports, on a tour of Apapa and Tinkan ports? It's a mess. You can't even access the ports. And so
why was it difficult to do? President Obasanjo did a bit of...
What we're also hoping to do was a situation where whoever that is going to be appointed as a Minister of Transport or Maritime Affairs in the incoming administration
should be somebody, from June next year.
Yes, should be somebody who has a firm grip of the industry, so that we don't bring people who come to learn. We don't want learners. Most of the appointees under Amechi were politicians. You don't bring politicians to rob. This is a serious business. Running the ports is a serious business. You don't bring politicians to run your ports. Now, there was a forum put together by Patutomi last week, a breakfast event for stakeholders in the maritime sector. And so this idea came about Apapa Port City. Pull down Ajegule. Yes, we can bring down Ajegule. Expand it, because that's what the governor of Bayelsa said is also trying to do. The Agep Deep Sea Port Project is not going to be the port project, it's going to be Agep Port City. And so we move like we moved the people in Morocco.
So Apapa Tinkan was already messed up.
It's messed up, so we need to replan. Now look at what is going to Lekki. You said Lekki will take off in September. How do you evacuate cargo? How do you evacuate cargo? Without rail. Refinery is also coming. Already we have a chaotic traffic situation in that axis. And then you bring in the Lekki Deep Sea Port, you bring in the refinery. Of course, the fertilizer plant is also there. So it's going to be chaotic. We are in this age and time. If we do such mistakes some 20, 40 years back, we can understand, but not in this time of age.
I'm sure you're a journalist. You spent many years, so you know everyone on the ground as far as maritime is concerned. What's everybody saying about the next elections? Don't name names here because it's all hot there with politics. So what kind of administration do they want for the next for maritime coming next? The
stakeholders are saying that this time the maritime stakeholders are saying that we are going to invite the 4 major front runners.
Okay,
Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Rabi Kwankwanso, and of course Bola Tinubu. Yes. We have to come and have a roundtable discussion with this, and they will give us the blueprint on what they want to do for the maritime sector. We are going to sign a social contract with them. It cannot be business as usual, where anybody will come and do anything, and you appoint a politician as a MD of MPA. Look at the mess we went into.
What about customs?
Customs, the same thing. You brought a retired army colonel to run such a professional agency. Have you seen a situation where a retired policeman will go and be chief of army staff? It's not done. And so we're having a lot of problems. But so far, in the case of the customs, having spent almost close to 8 years now, Hamid Ali has come down. He's getting to understand the fact that there are a lot of professionals, people who have spent a lot of years in the service, and so he's listening to them, and things are moving forward. But one thing that the incoming administration should stop, is the issue of this concession of the customs. It's been given to a Chinese company.
How do you mean? How do you mean concession?
The customs. The papers have been signed with the Minister of Finance. And whoever that is coming as the next president should take a second look at that. We can't concession the Nigerian Customs Service. Now look at NNPC. It's not bringing anything to the table. When FAC meeting is there, at FAC meetings, NNPC will say, oh no, we don't have anything. Well, so custom is becoming a major revenue earner. You can imagine. But
something needs to happen. Customs need to do trade facilitation.
I agree with you. That should not be main function. Yes. The function of the Nigerian Customs Service should not be that of collecting revenue. Yes. Should be that of facilitating trade, so that an importer will not have any reason taking his cargo to Benin or Ghana or wherever.
You know where in July, so we'll still have a long way before June next year. So we're going to have this conversation again because it's a moving target. So we need to keep moving. As when you guys put the stakeholders together to speak with those political front runners and others, we want Arise News to be there.
You will be there.
Thank you so much for coming through this evening.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Asu Beks, the CEO at Maritime Media Limited and a frontline journalist in the maritime space.